Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. Everything in bloom on the 8th, this month not forgotten, and this month on the 8th. So we're off to a good start. And, as starts go, we're starting in the kitchen because although not all these plants are mine, including the one we're looking at, I'm the one looking after them at the end of the day. This is one of Hannah's. When she first decorated her flat, the basic colour scheme wanted splashes of white, and so she bought in quite a few white phalaenopsis, this being one of them, which I now look after. So lovely little blooms. They are small, it's a mini phal, and it's doing okay. Another couple of buds to open, one hidden round the back and another one down the bottom there, still to come, but looking good. I may have to play with the light because I'm filming in the kitchen against a window, so the camera's going to try and silhouette things, I expect, and especially this one. Now this is the big one that I got from my son Tony when he moved out of his property. This came to me with this spike already in bloom. It's the one we had a look at a while back, that's in a glass jar with no drainage whatsoever, and it's been in there 5 or 6 years, and it's going to come out at some point, but I'm just waiting for the blooms to finish. It has actually come back into growth. There is a new leaf coming. Often combined with a new leaf will be some root growth as well, but that's that one. And then I'm going to count this one even though the blooms aren't properly open. Again, this is one of Hannah's, and this is Equestris. This is the plant over here, the spike's over here. So this is Equestris, but it's the polaric version. And already, even though that bloom's not properly open, you can see it's got 3 lips. And they're delicate little blooms, absolutely stunning. We'll have another look at that when it opens properly. It's got a second spike as well. So, right, now off to the grow room. Right, before we get going out here, I'd just like to thank everybody that has gone across to my new gardening channel, Roger's New Garden, and subscribed for me. We've got nearly half of the 500 I need already in one day. I'm impressed with you lot. A big thank you for all those that have done that. And for those who haven't, who missed the request, basically I've started a new gardening channel. I'm going to move across the videos that I've already done about the progress of this garden into the new channel on a regular basis, until we get up to the point where I'll be filming new stuff, if you see what I mean. And in the meantime, I'll hold the new stuff ready to go, if you see what I mean. So that's the idea there. But, you know, I'd like to get that channel monetized. Being a gardening channel, it should appeal to a much wider audience than my bonsai channel does. So I'm hoping this one's going to do well. But to get it off the ground, people who come across from the Orchid channel and subscribe and perhaps watch a video or two will help that grow and hopefully continue the pace that's already been started. So you're going to get a plug for this new channel quite frequently. Tough. So be it. Right, back to the blooms. Now I'm going to start up there in the roof, and I'm going to start by holding the camera up above my head, turning my little screen round so that I can see what I'm filming, and zooming in because I'm not getting the plant down. Now these blooms are going to go over soon. In fact, they think they've just started. But this is Dendrobium infundibulum. It does have the purest, pristine white blooms with a lovely deep yellow, bordering on orange, centre in the lip. Large blooms, attractive. If there is any fragrance, I haven't detected it. But unfortunately, the plant is down here. Those canes are over 1 metre tall. I don't know how tall the new one's going to get to, the new one coming here. We shall see. Right, back to these blooms over here. We've got this Masdevallia here. I'll do pop-ups for the names. It slows me down if I have to try and write them down or try and remember them. Some I remember, some I don't. And this one I don't. But it's a lovely deep purple colour, with some subtle veining, I'll call it. And then right next to it we've got the Masdevallia Inca Prince. This one I do remember, and this is one of those that has the purple hairs, and I'm going to try and move the camera and hopefully it will pick it up. They catch the light and give it a purple tinge as the light passes over those purple hairs. There is no purple on the flower. The flower is shades of orange, deep orange with bordering on red stripes, but there is no purple actually in the flower itself. It's the purple hairs, and it's as they catch the light. So that's that one. Nothing else over here. I haven't got one bloom on any of my Restrepias, and that rarely happens. There's normally at least one of them's got some blooms on, but not this time. Right, we've got a new bloom just opened. Unfortunately, I'm just getting the dehumidifier out of the way before I trip over it. Now this is opened at strange angles, so again I'm going to have to tilt the camera up from the roof looking down. Now this is Oncidium. Is it Oncidium, or it's an Oncidium into generic anyway? Oncidium Cheyenne. That basically, if that's in focus. That's a trade name, I expect. I doubt if it's registered. But lovely bright splash of red with a hint of yellow in the centre. Attractive blooms. I don't think they're fragrant, but it hasn't been open long enough to find out. It's not a particularly good spike. It's only got 4 buds on, but nonetheless, nice splash of colour. Nice splash of colour. So that's that one. There's nothing else over here. We've got spikes coming, but not there yet, as they say. Right, and then over here in the blooming display corner, yeah, we've got this one. This is a no ID hybrid. It's on the lines of tiger tail, but it isn't actually tiger tail. And these blooms are on their way out too. I think that's probably the only bloom that's still in perfect condition. And it's a colour changer. The colour it comes out at changes as time goes on. Over the first couple of weeks the colours change. It's quite a dramatic change too. But it's got a fair bit of odontoglossum in it, no doubt. Looking at the shape and the patterning, all that sort of stuff. So that's that one. And then over here we've got Dendrobium Victoria Regina with 1 or 2 of these bugs on. Now I'm going to have to spray again, I think. First of all, I will check to see if they're alive, but you know, these blooms on here, my video camera in natural daylight gives a pretty good rendition of this colour, but this particular bloom is notorious for not coming out true to colour when filmed. But a lot of that is because it gets filmed indoors with artificial lighting. If you film it in natural daylight, which is what I've got here, you will normally get a pretty close approximation of the true colour, which is not blue at all. It's a deep purple heading towards a bluish colour, but it's not actually blue. The only blue orchids I know of are some terrestrial orchids from Australia, and they are real blue. The genuine article, sky blue sort of colour, as they say. Right, Shari Baby was covered in bugs. It's had a spray, soapy wash spray. All the flowers and everything got sprayed, but as with all aphids, the chances of getting them all in one go are pretty slim, so I shall have to do it again. You can see them on that leaf there, but what I don't know is, are they alive? That's the problem. But nonetheless, if I have to kill them twice, so be it. But this, if we had a little ray of sunshine come in through the glass, this would scent the whole grow room. But without that change in light, it's not the light intensity itself, it's the change. It's the change that seems to spark it off, and I'm not getting that change obviously at the moment. Right, and then up here, up the top, we've got the Prostetia radiata, and this has got 3 lots of blooms on, one up the back there, and these 2 here. Upside down blooms, and at the moment the fragrance from this plant I can detect when I walk in. Probably one of the most fragrant orchids there is that are readily available anyway, and they're a nice little bloom. You know, there's nothing flashy about them. They're upside down, the lips at the top. It's got some nice veining in it. They're a nice shape, sort of cup shaped. Yeah, attractive, but you don't tend to get these for their blooms, colour or size or anything like that. You get this plant for the fragrance basically, which is pretty stunning. That's that one. And down here we've got our oh, come on brain. Bretonia Shelob Tolkien. We'll get there in a minute. 4 spikes on the go at the moment. One nearly fully open, it's got 1 bud to go. Second spike starting with 2 blooms, 2 to go, and the spike at the back won't be far behind. You can see the first bud at the base of that spike is swelling nicely and the colours patterning is showing. This one will be the last one to open. This one was first. This one may start to fade before that one gets there, but it would be awfully good if all 4 had some blooms out at the same time. I'd be very pleased with that. But it's putting on a good show. Little or no fragrance on this, and that's a little bit unusual because this is a hybrid between a Brassia of some sort, which could have been a hybrid, I don't know, and a Miltonia. And some Miltonias are fragrance, virtually all Brassias are, and yet this one isn't. And that often happens with hybridizations. You might get the colour balance you want and the patterning and the bigger blooms and more of them, but you tend to drop the fragrance as a consequence. So anyway, that's that one. And last but not least, the things you get me doing. I'm going to have to get down on my knees. Getting down there's okay, it's getting up. But actually I might be able to get away with not doing it. There's a set of blooms up there. But this is Dendrobium hercoglossum, and it is a pendulous dendrobium. The canes grow very long and arch over. This has always been on a mount but was failing miserably. So I put it in a pot and it's now bursting into life. You can see there lots and lots of new canes starting. They're only small, a lot of them, but they've only just started. You know, at least I've got some. Last year I only had a couple and they rotted almost immediately. These look like they're going to hang in there. And in the process of producing that number of canes, I will get new roots, because the roots were poor when this was potted up. Some were left behind on the mount, fair enough. That happens. But anyway, this has had a very staggered blooming this year. It looks like, there's still a few buds to come. But there aren't many. We've had most of them now, and these are the latest ones to open. And again, I'm going to let go of the camera off my strap, turn my little thing round so that I can see what I'm doing, and get underneath these and look up at them. I might need to play with the light as well, you know, with the software. But these, to get the best view of these blooms, you have to be underneath them, because they hang down, so they need to be viewed from underneath. And if you can get some bright light above them, you know, like if there was some sun around, for instance, no luck today, they glow, they light up. They are absolutely stunning little blooms, but you know, they're little at the end of the day. But this, in the past, you know, previous years, going back quite well, I think I've had this since about 2015, something like that. Going back over some years, we had mass bloomings, you know, like sort of 50 or 60 blooms out at the same time. Now obviously the plant was doing a lot better in those days. It's not doing as well now, but like a lot of my dendrobiums, we have kikis. And I'll say it now, don't all rush at once. I'll tag it on the end so that it's been said. But over here is my awarded plant, Friedrichianum Hanna. And it is the only one in the world because I named it after my daughter. And I thought I'd lost it, but it is starting to grow. But more importantly, it has 2 or 3 kikis growing. Those kikis get to keep the awarded name. I wonder who would like to buy those. You'll have to be in the UK, I'm afraid, but they're kikis to grow on. You know, you'd probably be 3 years away from blooming, but you would then have a named plant, an awarded plant. And this is the only one. This is the mother plant that was awarded. So these offspring are allowed to keep the name. So you could have a Dendrobium friedrichiana Hannah, if you want to pay for them. They're not getting given away, that's for sure. Because they're unique. Those are it. Those are the only ones. Like Highlander, there can be only one. Right, there we go then, and that's everything in bloom. It's not a great deal, but you know, at least I've got something to show you, and I remembered, and it was on the 8th. It doesn't always happen like that. And yeah, the next lot of blooms you will get to see will hopefully be on Saturday when I visit, when we have our garden party, Wessex Orchid Society garden party. Weather don't sound like it's going to be very garden party-ish, but we'll manage. But I'll be filming Alan's grow spaces while I'm there, and you know, we get to see somebody else's blooms, providing there are some. I've got no guarantee, but with the vast number of orchids he's actually got, I'm sure there's going to be some blooms there. You might be lucky and get some Draculas. He's got a lot of Draculas and Masdevallias. And an extortionate amount of paphs and frags. There's bound to be some of those open. Lots of Cattleyas, and then he's got others thrown in there. He's got quite a few Catasetums, and you know, he has quite a wide variety. He doesn't have many Dendrobiums, and he doesn't have many Oncidium types. But we'll see what he's got that's in bloom, and we'll get that done. And it'll be nice to have a look at somebody else's place for a change. So anyway, that's it for today. See you next time. Thanks for dropping by.